Hello friends. On suggestions from the students, many students suggested that every act should have a separate video. Though length of the video might be shorter, but it will be easier for the students to search that particular act and to revise that act, because it becomes difficult to search in all these acts. So from now onwards, though the size of video might be shorter, but we will try to discuss every act in a single purpose. The video might be of 5 minutes, 7 minutes, but it will be more easier for you to revise. So let's start with every act, every charter, every regulating act one by one in simple manner. So the next important charter act is Charter Act of 1833, one of the very important charter act. What it says, we will have a brief look. It was a final step towards centralization of British government in India. It means through this particular charter act, Britishers tried to control every British possession through the government represented people, government representatives. They tried to control everything. So from prelims point of view, this is very important point, that Charter Act of 1833 is final step towards centralization in British India. The most important development was Governor General of Bengal was designated as Governor General of India for the first time. See, here the change has been there. Governor General of Bengal has been designated as Governor General of India. We have seen in Regulating Act of 1773, where Governor of Bengal was called as Governor General of Bengal. Here we changed that designation. Here we are calling Governor General of Bengal as Governor General of India. It means from now onwards we will be treating the British possessions, we will be treating the East India Company's territories as entire India or British possession of India. So this was the main reason why Governor General of Bengal was designated as Governor General of India. Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. One of the very important bit from prelims point of view, Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Now what it did? This act deprived the Governor of Bombay and Madras of their legislative powers. It means before the Charter Act of 1833, the Governor of Bombay, Governor of Madras and Governor of Bengal, they had legislative powers. But now what happened? Through the Charter Act of 1833, the legislative powers of Bombay and Madras were deprived. They were no more had the right to make laws for the respective region. Now the next important point, for the first time a government of India was created having an authority over entire British possessions. Till now we had Governor of Bengal, Governor of Madras, Governor of Bombay, or we had Governor General of Bengal, or we had the representatives of East India Company, or we had the representatives of British Crown, but we never had something called as Government of India. So for the first time, an institution, something of a nature which can be called as a Government of India was created having an authority over entire British possessions. Here one thing you have to remember, as we deprived the governors of Bombay and Madras of legislative power, from this particular act onwards, legislative power became the exclusive domain of Governor General of India, which means Governor General of India had the exclusive legislative power for entire British India. It means it did not involve native princes or the territories which were not part of British India. So this was something kind of a centralization in the hands of a single authority which can be called as Government of India. Now one important development, laws made under Charter Act of 1833 were being started to be called as acts. This was important. Laws made under the Charter Act of 1833 were being called as acts, whereas laws made under the previous act like 1773, 1781, 1784, 1793, they were called as regulations. So this was basic difference. Laws made under Charter Act were called as acts, whereas laws made under previous acts were called as regulation. Now from this particular act onwards, East India Company became purely an administrative body. This was the change. Till now, East India Company had political functions, it had commercial functions, it had revenue function, it had military function. But from this act onwards, East India Company became purely administrative body. This was the most important significant change that can be studied in the East India Company. Its commercial functions were completely abolished. This was the most important development. The commercial functions of East India Company were completely abolished. Company's territories in India were held, that is British possessions were held in trust for His Majesty, his heirs and successors. So for the first time it was recognized that the entire British possession or the territories which were in the hands of British East India Company were held by British East India Company on behalf of His Majesty, his heirs and successors. Another important point from the civil services point of view was this Charter Act of 1833. It made an attempt to introduce a system of open competition for selection for civil servants. They said that there should be an open examination and even Indians should be allowed to hold any place, any position in civil service. Indians should be allowed to contest this particular civil service examination. But this provision was rejected after vehement opposition from Court of Directors. They said that there cannot be open examination, there cannot be open competition, and covenanted civil service and non-covenanted civil service is purely a domain of Britishers and it cannot be made open to Indians. So an idea of having open competition for selection of civil servants was rejected in this act itself. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Keep watching. We will come with every charter act, every act in a single manner. Thank you very much.